In the Pits has new Patreon spots opening up. Whether you want to get directly involved with the show, have a product or brand you want to promote, or just want to show support, In the Pits Patreon has tiers for all levels. Head to patreon.com/inthepitspaintballpodcast to check out the supporter, sponsor, and partner tiers. I'm super grateful for everyone's support over the years, and signing up for a Patreon subscription helps me do more cool things with the show. Enjoy the episode. In the Pits is partnered with 71 Designs, owned and operated by veteran Wade Martin, and partnered with fellow Texas brand Compete. 71 Designs can take your ideas for soft goods, merchandise, and casual wear and make them a reality. Message 71 Designs on Facebook or Instagram to get started today. In the Pits is partnered with BEM Wraps. Behind every mask is a unique and creative player. Tap into it when you order your next custom headpiece. Their Build-A-Band lets you communicate with them one-on-one to make your order just the way you want, all the way down to the color of the stitch. Check out their Instagram at BEMWraps for drops and build videos of them working on orders. They offer very competitive pricing, so reach out today to get started on your own one-of-a-kind headpiece. In the Pits is partnered with Hydra. Designed by players for players, you can outfit yourself in Hydra gear from head to toe. Have confidence that when you make a purchase from Hydra, you are purchasing a well-tested and well-thought-out product, trusted by several top teams, including World Cup Pro Champions Paintball Fit. I personally recommend their Hydra Black knee pads. Purchases over $100 receive free shipping. Head to hydra.fit to browse their selection and discover the Hydra mentality. In the Pits is partnered with Texas Pro player Jared Sherman. In a world where saving time means making money, Jared's local seed bank is making waves in Texas, carrying a large assortment of Texas-approved varieties for use in the Texas Hemp Program, seeds for novelty use, as well as premium genetics bred for solventless extraction. Jared Sherman has the ability to satisfy even the most sophisticated collectors. Head to his website and use code INTHEPITS for 10% off of your orders. In the Pits is partnered with Mariachi Águilas de Oro. Based in Austin and servicing the surrounding areas, these golden eagles will bring life to any event you are having, from birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, corporate events, or even a simple performance to enjoy. Guillermo Padilla, one of their trumpet players, is also a member of the Texas paintball scene. Visit them on Facebook and Instagram to check out some of their past performances, or give them a call to book them for your event today. In the Pits is partnered with XTPL Events. The Extreme Tournament Paintball League is a series put on by the Lukow family of Paintball Fit fame that gives the opportunity for players to learn and grow together as a team. 3-man, Challengers and Champions X-Ball, Draft Mech X-Ball, Super 7s, U3v3, even Glow-in-the-Dark Mech X. There's something for everyone at XTPL. Not to mention prize tosses, raffles, and the infamous Paintball Munching Contest. Events happen throughout the year, and the prizes never disappoint. Sign up for an XTPL event today on PB Leagues. In the Pits is partnered with the San Antonio 3v3 Paintball Series. The series provides local players with an affordable, fun opportunity to experience the excitement of tournament paintball and has already seen events sell out. I personally am the head referee for the series, and I can't wait to see you there. Visit sat3v3.com for details on upcoming events, or head to PB Leagues to register your team today. In the Pits is partnered with QBR. Are you seeking to heal and recover from the toll that paintball puts on the mind and body? QBR has the solution for you. Head to QBRofficial.com and use code PITS10 for 10% off of your order, plus free shipping. QBR, they don't sell broccoli. In the Pits is partnered with Get Dat Shot. Get Dat Shot is a local Texas videographer with numerous events experience filming on the Major League Paintball Pro field. Needing coverage for an upcoming event? Message him at getdat_shot on Instagram and let him know In the Pits sent you. In the Pits is partnered with Paintball Kumite. Paintball Kumite is a program designed by Colt Roberts of professional team San Antonio X Factor to take paintball players of all ages, experience levels, and skill groups and mold them into champions. The program breaks the game down into small, easy-to-learn sessions designed to help you master the fundamentals so that you can elevate your game. Newcomers to the program get a free 1-hour introductory class when mentioning In the Pits. To sign up for a class, message at Paintball Kumite on Instagram. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 127 of In the Pits Paintball Podcast. This podcast is focused on everything that has to do with the paintball scene here in Texas, from professional players and teams to new divisional programs, local tournament series, field owners, Texas-based brands, even photographers and videographers. Every week, we'll have a short and sweet episode with a new topic and new special guest. I'm Christian Dallas Smith. I'm a player for the Texas Titans, and this episode, we're going in the pits with Archie Montemayor, pro player for San Antonio X Factor and co-owner of Project. Archie, how are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Had some little bit of technical difficulties, but happens.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, glad to have you back on. It's been pretty much exactly 2 years since you were on the show last for episode 25, which was right at the end of the 2022 season. It's been 2 years since you were last on, and quite a bit has happened since that episode. So how did the 2023 and 2024 seasons go for you in general?
I would say pretty well. We won several tournaments. Yeah, I mean, and on top of that, I've really thoroughly enjoyed playing with Dynasty. It's in my opinion, the best team ever. I don't think that'll ever change. And just I'm just a really big fan of a lot of guys on the team, the core members, the rest of the guys on the team too, and kind of all the staff and everything. Everybody who's involved with that team is it's such a like a well-run organization from like every aspect. So it's hard to not just kind of be really admirable about the team in general. And then obviously, even without any victories, that's still to be said. But then, again, in the last 2 years, we won 4 tournaments. So that's, it's a lot better than better than every other team, actually. So yeah, I mean, I would say it was a big success. Definitely. I mean, anytime you can win a tournament in a year, that's already a successful season. And if you look at how many teams have won tournaments in the last 5 years, even, it's just such a small number of teams. So, yeah, I always count those as blessings. And I mean, you could always do better. That's easy to say, but at the same time, like sometimes you have to rejoice in what you've accomplished.
Yeah, for sure. I like how you say, like, even if you just have like a tournament win, that's still a successful season. There's so many people out there that think of paintball tournaments as, oh, if we don't get first place, then why are we even here? Like, they won't even, a lot of people will not even bother like playing the third place match. They'll be like, so I guess upset about losing in the semifinals that even though like, hey, a third place is a podium and it's still a significant, in some cases, a very significant prize for getting third. But just that mentality of like, hey, even if we don't win everything, you can still define success in other ways.
Well, I mean, honestly, like I don't really define success as winning, and maybe at some point in my career I used to, but that's just not how I look at life these days. And honestly, if that was the case, then I would say that most of my career I was unsuccessful because you don't win as often as you lose. And if that was the kind of thought process I had on determining what success is, and I would consider myself a big failure. But thankfully, I don't have that mindset at all. And again, there's always positives to take, and there's always like opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn, and also opportunities to just enjoy your experience. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. So yeah, I mean, winning isn't everything. It really isn't. And I think the pursuit of greatness is really what's more important than winning. And that I can say I've been trying to do for a long time.
And I think that you guys were definitely achieving that the last 2 years. And this one's brought to us by QBR Official. I mean, especially that 2023 season. That was just going back and looking at the season standings over the last probably 10 years or so. It was the most dominant season by a team since Impact's 2016 season. And Impact 2016, they made 5 finals, won 3 events, but they were in the finals every single event. You guys had 3 wins and 2 third places. So like just about as dominant in a league that's significantly more challenging than it was 8 years ago. So what do you think it was about the 2023 season that you think made it so successful?
Um, honestly, I really do think it was everything. A lot of it is just the spirit of the team, the players for sure, the sponsorship gear, like the paint that year was really incredible, and that makes a big difference for sure. Like I know me personally, like the better the paint I'm shooting, I don't care if somebody else is shooting better paint, the same paint I'm shooting, but the better the paint I have, the more likely I am to succeed. And I always feel like when paint isn't as straight or as little bouncy, I lose out in that exchange more than anybody else personally. Um, but the paint that year in particular was really exceptional at every single event. That makes a big difference. The pit staff, the pit crew, our families, our lovers, our friends. It really is like it takes a village when you're talking about doing things that are like not done before or like at the highest of the high level. Everything is accounted for in a way, and that's where even our own individual lives happening um, outside of paintball are in a way part of the team, and those things, can add to the team as well. So it's yeah. Again, it's just easy for me to say everything is an important factor in a season like that. So and yeah, again, like for me, it's like no stone unturned. Like I really consider everything: our jobs, our families, our lovers, our friends, our spirits, or even our thoughts, not even related to paintball. How clean and how uplifting and how strong our is our depth of thought, and I think those little details are what separate those types of seasons from like a normal good season or even a bad season.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a sport like ours where every little detail could be the difference between winning or losing. Like the margin for error
Hmm.
is so slim out there when you're only playing probably what an average of 5 or 6 points in a match on Sunday. Like any one of those
Uh-huh.
things could be the difference.
Right, absolutely, and that's why like and again to say we didn't earn it would be a lie, but at the same time like y- it's in a way like bigger than that sometimes, because there are just the intangibles that can go your way, and who's responsible for those things, like I don't, that's not saying I have the answer to that, and I don't, but sometimes it's not just a matter of what you put into it, um and yeah, sometimes there is just bigger hands at play in a way.
Definitely. And this one's brought to us by Sasha's 3v3 series of San Antonio 3v3. So, unfortunately, the 2024 season didn't go quite the same way for you guys. So, do you like kind of on that same breath, do you think that there was any like one thing that you can point to that was a change between 2023 and 2024 that was like a significant factor in the change in results? Or do you think that part of it was just the rest of the league caught up after Dynasty had dominated the last 3 years?
um I mean, there are a couple things I could say, like, we had two events that were lackluster where we didn't make the cut, and yeah, but honestly, like again, like it's so tight between, I mean, in both of those events, if we'd have won one more point and any of the matches, we would have made the cut. And at that point, we could have easily made a Sunday run. It's that easy. Like one more point in any of our games would have made us. We would have made the cut in those two events. So, that's how narrow and how close it is. But and again, like I'd say it, but the paint wasn't not like our paint at the tournaments this year could have been better for sure. And when you're talking about a narrow margin, that can be the difference. And that's not the only thing. We obviously picked up a new guy. That always kind of changes things. We were dealing with some guys not making it to all the events. There's It's a fragile thing. Anything can go awry, and also some. That's not to take away any credit from the other teams too. I mean, they're trying to knock us off. So if you ask any team who they want to beat the most this year, it's probably the answer is probably Dynasty. So that accounts for something too. So it's hard to say definitively, but a combination of factors. But at the same time, I still look at it like only 4 teams won an event. So we still had a better year than 16 of the regular teams, and if you count the teams that came in for the last event, 20 teams.
Yeah, for sure. There's, I
So
mean,
I still could consider it a success.
right. Like you guys won an event this year and it was considered a down year for y'all. That's just how incredible
Right,
Dynasty has
right.
been lately.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's like who's to say that's not a success? Every other team would take a win every year, 100%. No question asked. Impact didn't win a tournament this year. Heat didn't win a tournament this year. X Factor didn't win a tournament this year. Well, I can go down and list them all if I could, but I'm not going to.
Mm.
But yeah, there's the point. Is that exactly like we won a tournament this year? So that's better than most.
Yeah, for sure. This one's brought to us by MemRap. So last week it was announced that you're coming back to X Factor. So I know for a while there you were considering just not playing at all in 2025. So would you like to share a little bit on how you came to the decision to come back after all?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've been alluding to this for a while because it's been on my mind for a long time, which is to just not play paintball anymore. And I really enjoy paintball. I love paintball. I love the competition aspect. I love the banter. I love a lot of things. It's taught me so much about life. And but that being said, I for years I've been ready to just move on and do other things and have other challenges. And also another win, another 2 wins, another 5 wins. At the end of the day, doesn't really mean much for me as far as my paintball career. Like I don't really think about that, to be honest with you. I enjoy it still, and but that being said, I want to be home more, and I've wanted to be home more a lot lately, and I've got other things that I'm working on, other things that are inspiring me and calling my name, and the reality is, I just need to be home more. Um, and Anyways, the guys on the team, Dynasty, and honestly, like I've anybody that's asked me, I've said this. I was planning on not playing this year or this coming season. And anyways, when it all said and done, Ryan and Alex reached out to me if there was, potentially a chance for me to come back and play with X Factor, and I really hadn't given it any real consideration. And knowing I would be home more, I mean, it's easier for me to be here. It is. It's close. It's a great system. I'm around some great people, and a lot of close friends of mine. And so at the end of the day, I kind of just felt like it it made a lot of sense. It made a lot of sense, and because of that, I'm honestly I'm a little surprised at this, but like I'm really excited to play. Like I am, and this one probably will be my last, but I reserve the right to change my mind again.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's funny because I just didn't see myself being as excited to play um, this season or any season. And yet now here I'm kind of looking forward to it. Really, I really am. I think we've got a great team. I'm excited to um, potentially finish my career with X Factor, which that feels very natural and very right to me. And also I also relish in the challenge. I think they're a really great team, and for whatever reason, they haven't been able to find a dub in the last few years, and they've been right there the whole time. And it's interesting because I kind of they're in the finals a lot, and I just kind of I really thought they were going to pull it together or find a way. And honestly, they've lost in some really interesting or really unfortunate circumstances in a lot of those finals. But that being said, it's a cool opportunity for me to come back and hopefully we can, make some lasting memories and get some dubs.
Yeah, for sure. I know I was excited to have you back. And I know part of me is gonna miss the banter back and forth at work. But yeah, it's good to have you in an X Factor jersey again. I know, like, aside from you, I know there's been rumors of Colt Roberts considering retiring as well. So like, that's a lot of Texas legends that we're almost not there next year, and now they're all together again on X Factor. So it definitely feels right.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely cool, and like obviously I'm happy to play with Colt again, and I know we're not getting any younger, so we'll see. I can't speak for him, but I know he's been considering it, and I think I told him in Chicago this year. I told him I was not going to be playing this year, and he acted kind of surprised, and I was like, "Man, I figured you would have known," but yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm excited. I'm really pumped. I'm excited to be local again. I'm excited to be home a little bit more, and I'm also excited for the unknown. Like the team is a lot different than before than the one the last time I was on the team, and that uncertainty is always nice, and just ch finding my role, on the team, whether that's as a player or, potentially as a leader, potentially as just, an experienced veteran, maybe, kinda helping some of the guys. But whatever that is, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm really ready to relish in it, and I'm just ready to see what 25 provides for us.
Yeah, definitely. It's the team definitely looks a lot different since you were on, which was what 2021 was the
Mhm.
your previous season there. So like
Yeah.
most of the team is different now. I mean, you've still got Meter, Colt, TJ, and Billy, but that's it. That's four of the, and I guess Alex as well. But
Well, Cody was around too. I mean, there's a few
right,
departures, like Rainey and Jesse, and then picking up Tim and Fuzzy, right?
mm,
So it's essentially four people essentially changed, or two guys switched out in and out. Um, but I've
yeah, and
never
then
played with
I
Fuzzy,
guess
and I've
Tom Guest as well was on the team whenever.
yeah, that's true. Briefly at the end there, yeah, for sure. So he's not there, but he wasn't on the team like for a real length of time before I left.
Right.
He was kind of. I think we picked him up in the 2021 season, or may have been 2020, but that was a short season too. So, so yeah, and Tom was great for the team. Certainly like last year, he played really great on X Factor, and he's he's moved on to Ironman. He's playing great there too. So it's nice to see, and I actually really like seeing Tom get the reps too, because he's the kind of player that thrives in that environment, and he's improved as a result of that. But but um but yeah, that being said, I mean, a couple new guys. I'm looking forward to playing with both of them and learning their styles, and potentially, maybe having some progressive thoughts on maybe ways that those guys could excel or whatever. I'm just going to give my opinions when I see fit, and if I think it's helpful, and if not, then I'll just kind of sit back and watch what's happening. Obviously, the team's great, so I know I don't have to do too much, but um, and that's really the important part, is just realizing that all I really have to do is just you know um, add what's my own, in a unique way, and I think I did that well on Dynasty, and I'm looking forward to doing it again on X Factor.
Yeah, and that's a great position to be in. And this one's brought to us by Mariachi Aguilas de Oro. So, what do you think of like the rest of the offseason craziness that has happened so far? Obviously, like the whole Impact blockbuster moves happening, what, like a week after Cup, and then just so many other moves since then, including your own. What do you think of it all?
Um, I mean, I don't know. It's a silly season. Like, I don't. You can talk all day long about like what these moves mean, or like how it's going to be, but the reality is, proof is in the pudding.
Mm,
So we'll see how it all shakes out next year when the results are in.
yeah, definitely. I know there's a lot of excitement building around what next year is going to look like. I mean, it's a lot of change, but change can be good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think everything's good, whether it
Mm.
changes or it doesn't change. Like, life is good, and the experience is good. So next year is going to be good.
Definitely. So this one's brought to us by Colt and his Paintball Kumite. So, what do you think a realistic goal is for X Factor for 2025?
I think realistically win the series and World Cup. I think it's very realistic. I'm planning on winning a few events and the series, and hopefully paired with the World Cup victories. So, I think X Factor outside of Dynasty for the last several seasons has been the most consistent team. I think it's they've been to many finals. Obviously, they haven't won them, but they've been right there the whole time. Damage hasn't been as consistent. They've won a couple events. Um, the Russians obviously had a great year this year, but they did win two events in one weekend. So um, that one's interesting. They were hot in the right week, for sure. And I would, that was a really interesting week for there in Atlantic City. But if they didn't have that weekend, then it could have been, if it wasn't them hot that week, it could have been a different team, and then the whole season is slightly more up in the air. Um, but yeah, I think the Russians are going to be great again. I think Damage is going to be great. To a degree, I don't think they won the off season quite as much, um, but no. Back to X Factor, like the team's super consistent, and I think I'm going to add to that. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I really, really believe we're going to win some tournaments.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the goal. So this one's brought to us by Jared Sherman and his website, texanhemp.com. So Project and Technique have also been doing a lot since we last had you on the show. So you've released multiple markers, you've attended multiple events as a vendor, and you've really ramped up the Technique anodizing side within the last 2 years. So how has that journey been?
I would say it's been good. It's been fun. At times it's been challenging, but that's kind of how anything goes. Yeah, I mean it's being in the business of paintball is it's I honestly I consider it like an honor in a way. Like not everybody is afforded what I consider like a small luxury. And it's nice. Like we have fun with it. We enjoy what we're doing. Certainly sometimes we're really swamped and we've got a lot going on, a lot of moving pieces. Um, but yeah, again, it's quite a joy. It really is, and we get to do stuff that in a way excites us and excites other people and the people that are in a way influenced by who we are and what we do. So it's yeah, I don't take that for granted, and I really appreciate the conversations we have, the face-to-face interactions at events with our customers, and even if they're not our customers, just other paintballers in general. That is kind of what makes what we do so enjoyable. So yeah, I mean, having a hand in having things actually made and then providing them to other paintball players, it's just an awesome feeling. It really is.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling like whenever I first started working there about a year and a half ago, like just thinking like, oh, I'm technically an industry guy now. It's a weird feeling to be able to say
Yeah,
that, right? And just
right, for sure. And like, I mean, I'm gonna ask you this question, but like, did you probably didn't realize like how much of a hand we have in what's going on, right? I mean, like you at this point, a lot of what happens there, and it's there's many different roles or many different hats that we're all
mhm.
wearing at different moments, and I can't imagine you expected that from the get go.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is just the joys of running your own business, right? That you just have to be able to do it all.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's definitely way more. Well, I won't say way more involved, but it's definitely has a lot of moving pieces going on at any given moment.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but anyways, it's been an absolute joy, and I'm looking forward to more of it. We got a great year planned ahead, and yeah, hopefully just connecting and having meaningful relationships with people in the paintball space, and yeah, just continuing to make things that we're excited about.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Clint Riddle is in the chat. He has a question for you. He says, "What's been the biggest learning curve for Project and having a booth at events?"
Oh man, okay. Honestly, dude, the events are like it's about stamina. Like it can be, you have long days, you're up early, you're out there all day long. Sometimes it's really hot or really humid. And again, and also like the food at the events isn't the best either. So like it's a grueling week when you're going to an event, especially World Cup. It's just such a massive one. There's so many things going on. And then also on top of that, just your stock alone. I mean, it's a massive undertaking. It really is. And um, yeah, I don't think people realize how much work it actually is. Ryan and I, and you, Christian, are a part of this, but we spend like a good almost 2.5 months just getting ready for World Cup. And that's just one event. So it takes a lot, but again, it's worth the squeeze, and it is a lot of fun. And again, we get to do things that we enjoy doing with people we enjoy being with. So overall, it's great, but it's a serious undertaking.
Yeah, I definitely. And even when I did the booth by myself at USXBL, I'm like, man, this. There were certainly times where it was a little bit more grueling. Yeah, and Clint asks if you have any tips for any brands that are new to having a booth at events.
Um, man, I think tips for a brand. I mean, at the events, not so much. What I would say is just find a way to stand out. I mean, like that's how you're going to connect with people. That's how people are going to want to continue to support your brand. Find a way to stand out. Even if that's just your personality or your products or doing certain types of media. You find a way to connect with people, and that's what's ultimately going to lead to your success. Another thing I would argue is like you know, I think being self-employed is one of the greatest things in the world because you have no excuses other than yourself. And when you do that, you're forced to fail or you're forced to grow and better understand and make things work, right? And so the more you do that, the better you become. You just become more well-rounded, and you start to see the bigger picture a lot easier, and that tends to lend itself to show up in other ways in your life, right? And so like, in this, you're trying to figure out how to make your, small business work. And there's a lot of things that go into it. And, finding the efficient ways that move the needle for you and also finding out what doesn't move the needle and you stay away from those things, right? So, yeah, I would say though, find your niche, try to stand out. That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, definitely agree. I think my tip for the actual running the booth, don't forget to take care of yourself while you're doing it. So like, yeah,
Absolutely.
don't just think of like the booth tent and the tables and like your stock and all that, but like make sure you're able to last throughout the whole day. If that means like having a chair or a cooler with drinks or a fan or
Mhm.
something like that, like definitely have those things. Think of yourself as well.
Right. No, absolutely. You gotta be able to survive those days if you're gonna be selling your product. So
Yeah, for sure. So this one's brought to us by 71 Designs. Are there any upcoming things for either project or technique that you'd like to share?
yeah. We have a few things. We're actually gonna be doing this is a live show, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're doing a pack drop this week. We're gonna do a post on it tomorrow. We're gonna actually just a big pack drop. It's like 5 or 6 different packs. Some strapless, some strapped JT packs. Some of them are the Bunker Kings packs, the high end, really nice one. Those came out amazing. I'm really pumped to show those tomorrow. That's something we've got going on with Project. We also have a new Geo 5 coming out soon, and this one we've been really pumped on. It looks amazing. We should be getting those in the next couple of weeks or so. We'll be selling them in January. It looks like. And yeah, those are the big ones. And then we're also well, Ryan announced it on the Play the Game podcast, but we are going to be doing a team sponsorship program. We're still kind of working out the nitty gritty of it, but We'll be announcing something like that around in the next couple of weeks, and with some details and information as far as like how to get involved and whatnot. But those are all things that we're kind of pumped on. We're really pumped on the team program. It'll be nice to have some teams repping our gear and or being affiliated with us, and potentially having teams climb the ranks and sponsor teams with us. That would be great. And then obviously the GO5, it's something we've been working on for a while now. We're really, really excited. It's a different milling than the G that we've been doing the last several iterations. And not to say that we won't do that one continuing, but we did go with another kind of iconic, um, awesome cut on this one, and it looks really great. I can't wait to show the photo.
Yeah, I'm excited for when they do land. I think Ryan said that they're I think landing in country tomorrow or today or something like that. It's gonna like
We're
the
they
first
landed
boxes.
today.
Yeah,
We'll have a few of them on Friday.
sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting. I mean, that's anytime we're getting a new gun, it's always that's always a cool time to be at the shop, and also just getting your hands on something when before nobody else has it is always kind of unique.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting on that. So yeah, we're getting here towards the end. This one's brought to us by Get That Shot, which is the question I ask everybody that comes on the show. Is there anybody in Texas? It could be a team, player, brand, project, anybody within the paintball community, whatever their contributions are, that you think deserves more recognition for what they're doing.
More recognition. Interesting. And that's tough because I'm not like so involved in the Texas paintball scene anymore. You know what? But actually, this is a very easy one for me. I'd argue Ryan Brand. He's done a lot for X Factor and and the sport in general in a way. But for the most part, I just don't think he gets the praise, right? Like he's a big part of that organization, and I don't think that many people are really aware how much effort and how much thought he puts into the team. Obviously, I know all the guys on the team understand this and know this well, but like from the outside looking in, not I don't look at it that often that people really know how much um, how much of an effect he has on the betterment of the team. It's quite easy for me to say that. I mean, I know I'm at events sometimes still, and people don't even know who he is. And like to me, I'm like that's crazy to me. Because he's an incredible coach and he's an incredible manager of a team. It's not just about the coaching; it's about managing people, managing players, managing how certain things work for some players and not for others. And I think Ryan puts a lot of effort and a lot of thought, a lot of care into those things, and yeah, I would say he's a little undersung.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. He definitely wears a lot of hats for X Factor, and
Hmm.
people don't realize, I guess, just how much goes into that, especially at that level and with that level of success.
Right. Then that's really the point I'm making and again, like a lot of other coaches I don't do any of that really. Ryan does wear a lot of hats over there, and he just has a big impact on the team. So that's not always the case with a coach, and yet with Ryan, it definitely is. So
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I think we're just getting here to the end of our episode for the evening, Archie. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming back 2 years later. It's good to catch up on here. And yeah, I think we're looking forward to 2025 and seeing what all that brings.
yeah, lovely. Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see you tomorrow. So I guess this last one's brought to us by Jell Stewart. So do you have any last shout outs or things you'd like to say before we sign off?
Shout outs. I mean, I guess I would just promote it- everybody. I think for the most part, if they're paying attention to this, they know our brand project and the anodizing technique anodizing. You can find us on Instagram or Facebook for project, and just Instagram for technique. As far as other than that, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would say shout out to anybody that's paying attention to this right now. That's sort of the fabric of the paintball space, and that's what kind of keeps this thing going and keeping people talking about it and keeping people excited about these things. And yeah, so I'm just really pumped for next year. It's crazy because the off season just started, but I'm really kind of ready for it to be over, which isn't always the case. Um, but yeah, thanks for having me on again, and yeah, looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. So that does it. Thank you all so much for tuning in live. Isaiah Ibarra in the chat says, welcome back to X Factor.
Thank
Uh,
you.
yeah, so y'all be sure to go follow Archie. That's at kid_arch on Instagram. Also go follow Project. That's at project__PB. And
Two underscores.
yep, 2 underscores. And then go follow the Technique page at technique_anodizing. So what other guests would you all like to see on the show? Be sure to leave a comment down below. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button. The show goes live weekly here on youtube.com/@inthepitspaintballpodcast. Recordings are posted to YouTube, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify the next day. Except for this week, we have 2 episodes. So we'll be back on again tomorrow night, where we're going to have Anthony Vitale and John Jackson coming on the show together. Both are the owners of Wasteland Paintball Park in Houston. Anthony also does so many other things with Twister, with Team USA and BKI. So it's going to be good to catch up with him there. And then, yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow for that. Arch, thank you so much.
Take care.